Bonochi, Korsou, un placer, Shonan, para nos comenzarnos programa junto con Bosan y deseamos un feliz anoche a través de nuestro programa que va a cubrir un tema sumamente interesante. Nos aventa a conversar a lo largo de hopi tiempo como miembro de Red Únete, cual nos llamamos papiamento Ban Uni. Red Únete está una agrupación que está reunir comunicador, artista plástico, artista de tour sorto, gente que tiene vinculación no solamente con media, pero con arte, a través de su trabajo, plasma el sentimiento que tiene a propósito de abuso contra de gente Muhe, el sentimiento que tiene para erradicar el abuso contra de gente Muhe. Un de programa comunitario más importante de Naciones Unidas. Es un programa de Naciones Unidas y tapecei nos ha decidido algún año pasado de ponernos mes a disposición de Red Únete de artistas para lucha aquí y nos está representando Korsou de Red aquí de Naciones Unidas. Por lo tanto, cada día 25 de noviembre, pero no está haciendo cada 25 de cada luna, de tal forma que no está una lucha que solamente está tomando lugar en la luna de noviembre, un día para año. Pero cada 25 de cada luna nos siempre está intercambiar con otro y está reunir a través de internet para así intercambiar elementos que por servir de la lucha para erradicación total de abuso contra de gente Muhe y su familia, que es sumamente importante, su familia. Y de manera, señora Mirta Litsenche, presidenta de SEDA Tabisa, contra abuso de gente Muhe y especialmente jovencita, pues no están hallando casos sumamente brutal de abuso contra de gente Muhe machayón mes. Esta pensei en el weekend que está tras de Lomba a concluir un programa de The Right Journey. Está un programa que algún país ha incorporado en su proceso de formación de los jóvenes en el trayecto de teenager para vida adulto, para vida un joven madurar y SEDA a adoptar el programa aquí y con presencia del señor Andrew Lines de Australia que junto con su casa ha bien Korsou para así dedicar un semana completo a taller de coaching y de formación de personal para lo que se trata guía y orientación de nos muchanando en el trayecto de teenager para adulto o para joven madurar. Nos ha participado de un evento allá en dos, en el Ministerio de Enseñanza, entre otros, caminda también un workshop a tomar lugar y ya domingo, tras de Lomba, es decir, ayer anoche, a tomar lugar charla sumamente importante para así marca presencia de Korsou en la lucha contra violencia de gente Muhe. Ese ahí estaba una conferencia sumamente importante y no quiera larga la oportunidad pasa sin compartir con vosotros algún segmento de conferencia para sobre esta intención para plasmar el mensaje de entera comunidad. Y comenzando por de nos jóvenes, nos aprovechar de compartir algún segmento de conferencia con nos capta. Primeramente, allá en dos, en Ministerio de Enseñanza, caminda a ser dictar un taller de parte del señor Lines y después nos va a pasar para la universidad, caminda también el grupo presente a disfrutar de un conocimiento de manera lines más profundo en el terreno aquí y él compartía esa cultura presente. Bom, começando allá na Universidade de Korsou, a senhora Mirta licença a realizar a apertura. Nós vai queda cortico de nos comentários para assim por dar uma chance na senhora Lines de exponer algum conceito na qual queda apresentar de leitura que toma lugar allá na Universidade, entre outros com presença de Minister Hensley Koeman, também Minister Marilyn Alcalá-Wale e Minister Cita Jesus Leito, que ainda estava presente e a participar também de taller aqui, de conferência aqui. Pero primeramente la ganos de un espacio para la señora Mirta realizar apertura y a la vez así introducción de Minister Koeman como Ministro de Desarrollo Social.
Hoje é Dia Internacional de Eliminação de Violência contra a Gente Muhe. Dia mais especial, com produto na cuceda da Paraqueto Ribeirão. Em terceira nós a Paraqueto riba é parte de violência e hoje, especialmente, nós abrimos para o público por me escutar gente que é mais importante de a jornada com muito homem e muito mulher passa a den de teenager para virar homem madurar e responsável. Na 2009, cedo a começar projeto. Nós temos aqui no Padre Paulino, de Anglican Church, com o defunto Nelson Coffey como psicólogo. Nós temos projeto que estava chamado CRA, Conexão Real com a Alma. Nesse projeto aqui, nós temos hope experiência de com a gente homem não estava conta com para muita, para gente grande, na mesma será busca na caminho. Mientras que nós estamos com o projeto CRA aqui, nós fazemos investigação e nós temos ano passado estudo caminha nossa pinta e quadro caminha nossa mira que depende de experiência de muita mulher e muito homem, ora que cresce e também a situação social e econômica que vive dentro, com violência agressão, também adiante e que não pode deal com não. Então, eu não quero nada outro. E ano aqui, que do na follow-up na ideia de estudo de ano passado, para nós invitar Andrew Lines para me dar nós programa que nós podemos na raiz de nosso problema não, de muito homem e muito mulher virado adolescente em mundo caminha nos tursa com ribacaia e fo ta iPad ta pornografia ta bira grande com amigo não ta aceita é coisa primordial e bira grande responsável ta não ficar amanhã com Deus que nós tem família não saúde e nós que família não saúde então pensei nós mesmo tra mais tanto riba gente homem e gente mulher não responsável. Esse man aqui, nós temos projeto com a escola e me tenho que mais agradecido na escola escola gemeenschap outra banda e também tour e managers de escola AGO. Nós tour saco nós temos escola de AGO que está crescendo, caminha mais tanto está emocionando que nós estamos em Techno Future School e push outs tá bem. Techno Future School aduna-nos mais experiência e mais insight de vida que é muito homem e que a cai fiscal, que a cai será, que a cai ribacaia, tá passa dentro. Então, é insight que nós temos de Techno Future School, nós não porque assim usele, então me contento, me chamo para bem na busão, que a noite, que tem Cristo Rei, que tem tudo sorte de coisas, ronde coisas, a bini para escutar que o Andrew Lines lo por ajuda-nos com ele den a jornada de tiner para homem e mulher responsável. Me quero dar uma palavra na nosso ministro de SOV, para a abertura oficial, então acaba Andrew Lines da toma over. Ministro Koeman, para chamar adiante, ela aweta Orange the World, vete aqui. Então ela Orange the World para mim papi ko busta.
Mas danke Mirta. Me tem seguro, não é nem que não escuta a minha noite, não escuta Andrew, Deus nos atende, mas chama o artigo. É tópico aqui, um tópico, mas a verdade, me mês a dedicar tempo na dor de trando riba obra de fundo Roy Evers, a sinto como enviante la trampida, que ela passa da Luna Blow. Diego político na mistura de aporte, então ela usa parte de obra. Então, verdade, sim, mas nós seguramos não, pero ainda não tampouco. Hoje em dia, mais e mais. A mim, por exemplo, me tata do nome educação sexual de segundo de 5 segundos. Estava a ribe dia como me será sali para Holanda. Então, ela passa inteiro ano, vai roupa pressão, me tem seguro, que com minha mama está pleita. Com minha mama está puntre que dia está conversar comigo. Só que eu vai ficar, hein? Então, eu estava roupa nervioso, ela evitava me pare bia vai lamang, vai punda, vai den kunuko, vai tu sorte caminda, sem papia. Então, é dia como me será bula vai Holanda, na 1975. Então, aí ela bisami, me estava sentindo que tem tensão, ela deu-me informação de sexualidade. De 5 segundos da hopi. Qualquer hora não me contei, pero babi acaba na bem para escutar. Venir Andrew, pero das nada hopi nossa experiência. Hopi de nós não é nada de informação, informação bem do escuta é grande não, começa não sa e que tava da hopi de formar. Pois nós mestre na hopi atenção e tempo para formar nossa gente não, passando é qualidade de vida, e desenvolvimento que o país está passando, tanto que Bonochi hopi não, homem e mulher bom formar. Kuta hanya informação não correto, lubatingo hiba, hopi luta gasta hopi seng, para costan ko para evitar. E a mim também sempre takes a village to raise a child, não está dimit dicho africano, pero realmente cada mucha está depender de nós tour. Mira que não tinha pastor aqui na igreja, lubatingo está aqui na renda de deporte, na de cor, tour renda que líder, mas essa responsabilidade com a carga para ajudar guia nos muito não.
I wanted to acknowledge Seda, and also just wanted to acknowledge in Australia and New Zealand, today is called White Ribbon Day, and people wear a white ribbon. So that's the same international day for the elimination of violence. I asked you to pick up a couple of feeling cards. One of the things I'd like to do this evening is give you the experience of some of the strategies and methodologies we use in the right journey in the schools. And we've created these feeling cards because one of the things we've realised is that with young people, if you imagine a 14-year-old boy and you say to him, "How are you?" he doesn't have many words to respond with. Usually when I speak to teachers, they'll just say he probably has 2 words he'll say. Fine, or okay. And what we're trying to do is to build emotional literacy in the youth. Hopefully you've had an experience of what that's like to be prompted to share how you're feeling with these kind of cards. I think if when you had have walked through the door, if I had have asked you how you were, you probably wouldn't have said either of the words that you've picked up, except you are feeling them. And so can you understand how when you're working with young people and they don't have the word bank to access to tell you how they're feeling, how this actually gives you an insight into how they are, a deeper insight than you ever get from just actually asking. So we've been using these with the teachers during this week, and we're excited to hopefully be translating them into Papiamento for use in schools here in Korsou. One other thing I wanted to tell you about was a book that I purchased at the airport a couple of weeks ago, and I did this actually, and I didn't really make the connection between working here in Curaçao in the Dutch Caribbean and the fact that this subtitle of this book is actually Bringing Up Children the Dutch Way. It's written by 2 women who grew up in the Netherlands but have since moved interstate and married men from different countries and are raising children in I think the US and the UK. And So the studies show that adolescents in the Netherlands are the happiest kids on the planet. And they did some research with the particular guy who's known as the happiness professor, I think. And they said, what is it that actually, why? What would you put it down to? And there were two things. The first thing was he mentioned that in Holland there's less of a tendency for overparenting. They do more in what they call independence training. That is, they grow their children up to be independent and leave home. Whereas what we're noticing in a lot of other Western cultures is what we call helicopter parenting, where parents hover over their children, making sure that they're all safe and okay, and that actually prevents them growing because it squashes them. The other thing, interestingly, in that second paragraph that this professor mentioned is the fact that in the education system, in Holland they use more of a coaching approach than the example he uses from France, which is very much the teacher out the front telling the kid what they should do. And so those two things are why they believe that Dutch adolescents are still the happiest kids on the planet. And it's certainly in the education, the way that we work with the Right Journey, where we sit down with the students in a circle and share with them, as opposed to standing out the front and telling them how they should be as a person. We help them that become revealed through conversation instead of telling them how they should be. Coming from Australia, we have an appalling statistic, which is that every week in Australia, a woman is killed by a partner or an ex-partner. Every week. It's an appalling statistic. And sometimes those murders also involve the children. In a township fairly close to my city, a dad chose to drive off the end of a pier, a jetty, with his children in the car, and they all drowned. This was just about 1 year ago. And so, for me as an Australian, this, trying to eliminate violence and trying to raise boys who aren't going to do that is really close to my heart and very important to me. There's just been some research done as well in Australia which is around this idea of a man box, and I hope I can explain it to you properly. Imagine there's a box, and inside the box is the man that boys expect they're meant to be as they're growing up. It's a stereotype, and it's what a guy is meant to be. If a boy exists or does things or wears things or does sport or anything that's outside of the box, they get teased. Yeah? And how they usually get teased, and from having chatted to the teachers here in Korsou, it's exactly the same. They will either be called gay or a girl, a female. If they don't do the activities, look the way you're meant to, which is in the man box. Interestingly, there's also a female stereotype. And females who don't fit in that stereotype, they get called gay, a lesbian, or they get called a boy, macho, or butch. And what this does is it makes it really hard for boys and girls who don't necessarily exist in the box to stay outside of the box because they're getting teased, and the easiest thing is to go back into the box. Does that make sense? And so what we have is this recurring theme of the stereotype because it's really hard to challenge it. We had a teacher the other day explain that as a boy he did ballet. Now that's not in the man box, and so of course he would have been teased at school for doing that. And what they've found is that this man box is alive and well. It still exists. Even though in our 21st century you'd think things are changing, they're not changing terribly rapidly. The other thing that the research showed was that this man box and the pressures are incredibly unhealthy for both the boys and men who are obliged to still fit in it, and the girls and women who live in the society with these men who still exist strongly within the box. So the man box is unhealthy for everyone. And finally, there was this note that we need to do something about it. And I'm very proud that we've been doing Right Journey and talking about this stuff with boys for 15 or 20 years now, trying to shift the man box, break the man box down and say to the boys and the girls in our girls program, however you are is fine. And we want you to feel free to express who you are as a person. So girls are growing up in a world that's quite different. This activity was done by a teacher recently, and she asked them to write on a card anonymously, what don't your parents know about social media? And this is what they wrote.
Bueno, nós vamos mirar claramente que outra coisa começada em orientação de é muita, essa é sumamente importante, é orientação de é maior, pero também é formação de é muita, para assim nós por guia é jovem en el trayecto correcto. Tiene diferentes métodos, metodología sumamente grande de estimulación, de premiación, cantidad de cosas importantes ahora con nuestra guía es joven. Y muy especialmente, manera nos por mirar en presentación de si online, no control, pero mientras quiere con base de comunicación con ellos, nos por mirar claramente con red social, tin hopi de haber con información de nos muchanan.
So they're on it until way into the night because the kids have phones, they're in their rooms, the parents aren't necessarily monitoring it. This girl talks about swearing, talks about getting nude photos from boys she doesn't know, talks about making fun of everyone. This is the same here in Korsou from what I hear from teachers. This one again is the amount of bullying that goes on. Again, nudity. It talks about secret accounts that kids have worked out they can have. There are apps that kids can have that hide stuff and parents have no idea. Apps that look like it's a calculator, but it's not actually. It's hiding nude photos. One of the things that I am aware of is I think as a parent I've got 7 children, 4 of my own and 3 stepchildren between the ages of 7 and 23. And what I realise is I'm completely disconnected to what life is like for them as young people because I didn't have any of these things. I didn't have these pressures. And we'll talk about them a little bit more later. The theme of this year's Day of the Elimination of Violence is Hear Me Too. And I just wanted to talk to you about an experience that I had on Friday working with a group of boys in at Seda at Johnny's school. We were doing an activity with drums. So one of the really important things I believe in working in the social emotional realm with students is you need to have strategies and different methodologies that they enjoy, that are fun, that then you come back and you talk about the lesson. But they're enjoying it in the moment. So we do an activity that's basically a call and response activity. So someone plays a particular pattern on the drum, they then pick someone else, and they have to play it back exactly the same as it was played. And we talk about how that's easy when we are just listening to noises. But so as humans, we're not great listeners when we listen to words. And I used the quote with the students by Stephen Covey, which says that as humans we tend to listen with an intent to respond rather than an intent to understand. So when we're when we're listening to someone, we begin formulating our response. So part of our listening shuts down because we're actually planning what we're going to say next. And so I say to the kids, a way to feel completely listened to is just like call and response drumming. So if I say to you, I'm flying out on American Airlines tomorrow at 7:46 a.m., you say, so you're flying out on American Airlines tomorrow at 7:46 a.m.? And I think, you listened to me, thank you for that. And you didn't start thinking about, oh, gee, that's an early flight. Or how are you going to get to the airport at that hour, or what you're going to be doing at 7:46, or the last time you went somewhere on American Airlines. You've just listened to me and what I've said. After we did this activity with the boys, I asked them, who is the best listener in your life? and we went around the 4 boys. The first boy said his mum. The second boy said his mum. The third boy, whose mum has died, who lives with his grandma, said his grandma. And the fourth boy said his mum. I then said, who's the worst listener in your life? Father, 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 father. 4 out of 4. How is that? Why is that? And what can we do in response to knowing that as dads ourselves, but as men in the community who are working with boys and men? How do we get them to understand? And what happens with those boys is I haven't said to them, men don't listen well. They've just done that little task and they walk away with that understanding without me having to say anything. That's from having a conversation. So hear me too. You know, we're talking about that with girls and women. But what about these 13, 14 and 15 and 18-year-old boys? I think they'd be wanting to say that to their dads. Where do our boys learn? I want to tell you that when I get boys in my class in year 8, which is the first year of high school in South Australia, I ask them, how many years of a male teacher did you have in primary school? The average has been 1 of those 7 years. That's over 22 years I've been asking that question. So what I've realised is that boys don't have men in their lives very much. How do you learn to be a man? You sort of have to have some men there. And what I've realised is that's not the case. Mums, women and female teachers do a wonderful job. But there are some things that boys need to hear from men. And that's important. And so when I realised this, I guess I started to think, look, I need to do something about this. I need to be talking to these boys. I grew up the son of a Baptist pastor and the son of a nurse. And there were some things about, I feel like I had a blessed upbringing. I heard in my patchy understanding of Papiamento, the minister say earlier that it takes a village to raise a child. I was very lucky to grow up in a church environment where I actually had a village. What I notice about most of the young people I teach today is the village has gone. These boys, if dad's not at home, there's no other bloke around who picks up the task of looking after this lad. The place the men are is actually in the schools that are having contact with them. But what I found when I was in school and teaching was that I didn't have time, really, to sit down with these boys and have these conversations. Because the curriculum is so tight to do curricular stuff that if I want to ask a boy how he is and have a 30-minute conversation with him about how he's working with his anger, that it just doesn't happen. And so what I realised was we actually need to create time in our education, in our curriculum, for these conversations to happen if we want to grow up wonderful human beings. I think in Australia, schools do a very good job of creating students, tertiary students. I don't think we do a great job of creating independent, wonderful human beings. And that's something that I want to make a difference to. My dad, great man, very good pastor, but he wasn't a good listener. That's a bit of baggage I've received from my dad. He wasn't a good listener. Some heritage, some good stuff I've received from my father is he is an emotionally intelligent man who I watched preach for many, many years, and he wore his heart on his sleeve and was very honest and upfront about how he was as a human in front of other people. And that's some heritage I've got from my dad, and I stand here proudly now doing the same as him. I'll move on to talk about the fact that sort of the default adult we become is generally largely our parents. And one of the things we actually talk to the students about is we have a similar conversation. It's gentle, but it is about what are the qualities of your parents that you want to continue with, and what are the qualities of your parents that you'd like to let go of. But for me, growing up, as I mentioned earlier, went beyond just my parents. I had these uncles they were actually part of the church community, and that's why I mentioned I was very fortunate to have them around. My dad, being a Baptist pastor, he was a lovely man, but I didn't want to be a pastor, and I didn't want to be him. And so what was important for me was to find other men that I did want to be like. And the wonderful thing about those men was that they actually took an interest in me and spent time with me. So Fred used to drive me to watch Australian rules football. Between the age of 14 and 16, every Saturday in winter, he'd pick me up with his family and take me. Gavin Grates was my youth group leader. He was one of the first entrepreneurs in my town in Adelaide. Remember when VHS video recorders came out and you had the big chunky cassette that would go in? Well, he realised that someone would probably want to hire a movie one day, so he started a little video cassette hire store in our town, which then became a massive chain of video stores. And then Paul Van Leeuwen, who's in the middle there with me and my youngest son, Phoenix, he was a musician, and I loved music. He was a drummer, and I was a beginning drummer. And so we had a lovely friendship as well. So these three men, I have parts of them within me today. And I have had the opportunity to say thank you to each of them. And Fred died about 1.5 years ago, and I just managed, before he passed away, to I didn't get to speak to him in person, but to pass on a message via his wife to say what a wonderful influence he had been in my life and how I carry parts of him with me today. Then I had teachers, all very, very different. Mr. Dodd was, as you may be able to tell, a slightly eccentric maths teacher, he was. He had this quite strange habit of, I think you had Pizza Hut here, and many years ago at Pizza Hut you used to get little red pencils. They were very sharp, they're only about this big, so they used to give you placemats that would have little activities you could do on the placemats, and they'd give you a pencil. Well, he'd walk around the school with 3 of those pencils stuck under his watch band, so he was never without a writing implement. I always thought 3 was fairly excessive, but you could always sharpen the 1 that you had in there, but he thought he'd needed 3. Then Phil Ashby was my physical education teacher in Year 9 when I was 14, and he's why I'm a physical education teacher. And Mr. Watts was my music teacher, and he's why I love music. And I think you can see there he's getting makeup put on him by the students. That was on a music camp, so that they were all just amazing men. And again, I've been able to thank all 3 of those because I carry a bit of them in me now, today. And those 3 men are why I wanted to get into teaching. They inspired me. But what I realise is a lot of kids these days don't have this big collection of people that they feel connected to and inspired by. I managed, because of the sport, and I went away on a couple of camps with Mr. Ashby, so I spent time with him. Mr. Watts, it was always music practices and choir practices, so I spent time with him. Mr. Dodd, there was a club that he ran which I was a part of, so I spent time with him. It takes time.
Bonochi, Korsou. Bonochi, Korsou.
Bom, jornal que nos cumpre com algum mensagem de estar com assim nos programa possível e diz nós também com mais nos programa. Boa noite, Korsou. motivo não suficiente para despedir de você querer com o serviço de agência funerária senhorial, profissionalismo e respeito.
Bonochi, Korsou. Bonochi, Korsou.
Nós sei back na nombre de Sambil, para futuro hora também hora para children Sambil. Xenang, nós está dando queiro aqui em Sambil e quem nos está topa nada mais e nada menos que nosso bom amigo Luis, su general manager, para nós conversar de onde tantíssimo coisa que Sambil a preparar para año aqui. Não é solamente decor, não é solamente ambiente, pero também coisa acerca que você pode ganhar fazendo uso de ture negócio, de ture pacusnan, de ture restaurante, de ture negócio em geral que tem em Sambil. Don Luis, boa noite, bom venir, danke para estar junto conosco nos programa hoy.
Bonochi, Korsou, Bonochi, Germán, danke por la oportunidad, Trove. De verdad nos está alegre, nos llega otra temporada de Christmas aquí en Korsou y nos está preparada hopicos agradable para nuestro público. Ahora nos está papi tocante de una promoción especial de una alianza que nos está haciendo con Copa Airlines para dar una oportunidad de un viaje para Panamá. Vos bien aquí vos pasa bon en Sambil, vos contabiliza van childen en Sambil.
Van childen en Sambil, tu gente con bien childen en Sambil, va a Panamá, va a childen en Panamá también.
Así, correcto. Vos haces compra aquí y con 35 florín, vos busca bobón, pone aquí y tiene oportunidad, fue de día 8 de noviembre, de día 30 de noviembre, para ganar 2 boletos para Panamá, para pasar un viaje tremendo y disfrutar de la mano de gente de Copa Airlines.
Correcto, un saludo para nuestra amiga Ida de Copa Airlines, buena amiga de nosotros y Bonochi Korsou también. Aidita, un saludo especial. Me quiero apuntar, Luis, que es un recibo, es un invoice que botas años en cada negocio, botas en qué le queden, que me botín que llena algo seca o...
Sí, vos me ser colocar vos número de teléfono también, address. Ok, para
ID también,
ID también, sí, correcto, para nos por tomar buen contacto. Bond que no te cumple, 4 cosas que me te avisé, no
por participar. Ok, sonan corda bon, nombre, address, número de teléfono y ID número, está más importante para votar dentro, para no tener problema mañana. Sí, pero address, mal olvidado, no. 4 coisas, se você não está acorda, punta, para soltar 4 detalhes que é bom, mas tem arriba que vi, para você importar de huega, para 2 tickets para Panamá. Esse está a partir de 35 florín vai arriba, um ende que você compra 35.
Sí, correcto, mínima, compra mínima está 35 florín.
Se você compra 32,50.
Para te compra una cosa adicional, te pone un NIT y te pone aquí nada.
Okay. Si vos te compras 32,50, vos te vas a ir para la panadería aquí, vos compras algo de 2,50, pones a seca, para vos poder completar, pero si no, no está de huega. Que
sí, correcto, así no es.
Okay. Bueno, Sonan, aquí está algo de tantísimo costan que nos tienen cada día aquí en Sambil, costan great para interfamilia y Kiko más dulce con viaje para 2 personas para Panamá, simplemente vos te bin, botar chill en Sambil, botar disfrutar de todo y cosas, duche que Sambil organiza y además de ese vos tiene oportunidad de viajar para Panamá de la mano de Copa, manera nos amigos Luis avisa, pero de la mano de Sambil también pasó. De Sambil está ecos cada día, chill de Sambil. Vamos a nos ahí en el nombre de Auto City, de Corazón de Salinha, es mi choice, es mi deal, es mi auto, es manera ideal para vos seleccionar vos auto, está conversar con los team de venta, igual Kiko te mi opción, Kiko está en mi deal con nos por Hasi. El nombre también de agencia funeraria El Señorial, Shonan siempre está bon para vos, está bon preparado para cualquier circunstancia que vida por presentar. Y el momento final no te escapa de ese. El momento final está algo que nos me ser ten debida cuenta y que nos por meser hinquele de tour e planificación que nos está así de nos plan de vida. Por lo tanto, está importante para tomar contacto con el señorial y así planificación a tiempo y evitar situaciones desagradables. No está recomendado para así como tiene oportunidad, toma contacto con agencia funeraria El Señorial y así o aquí con tu posibilidad de pago poco a poco, etcétera, y tiene turbo cosas arreglar si acaso algo sucede de una manera imprevista. No olvidar que ya viernes próximo, ya viernes, día 30, está el grandioso presentación, día 30 de noviembre, de Ilan Chester, el músico de Venezuela, que ahora es el músico del mundo. Lo presenta con entera su banda, día 30, allá en PUFC, sala de PUFC, camina a ser acondicionada para un concierto por todo lo grande, un concierto más great mes, para tener tour de piezas, solo éxitos, así el tour de Ilan Chester, el tour round mundo que está tomando lugar y que Korsou no ha quedado fuera, aquí en la organización Cube, A13 y la lo 13 y Lancaster para presentar ya viernes, día 30, allá en la sala de PUFC. Pues no porque de fuego va a compartir tu pieza de Lancaster, así aquí vos por revivar tiempo de gloria, no solamente de cantica de Lancaster, pero Dios sabe cuánto cosas bonitas pasan en nos vida junto con tu cantica ahí.
Bonochi, Korsou.
Shonan, me quepa buscando na vos na mes aplauso, prometo. De com para sobra intensivamente vos escucha gente que atrás yar programa para assim nos muito nang hombre deal com rabia, com problema nang. Posando tem hopi pergunta, nós não podemos contestar tudo e pergunta dando um quarto de hora. Pero lá que nós vamos prometemos que nós ministro de educação pobisa agora aqui na final que ela mira a apresentação aqui e tende que nós estava tendo time de 57 maestros de VSBO e teams com a forma 40 gente de AGO escola nan com a raia training esse man aqui. Minister, vou prometer impressão ora batendo que passa esse man aqui.
Ok, danke Mirta. Boa noite, natureza está presente. Naturalmente, me também estou muito contente com você sabine, então me estou mais contente ainda com mais gente homem que tinha muito presente aqui não. Está dando uma boa indicação. Prometo que sei, lagami agradeci Andrew Lines para charla, eigenlijk apresentação de Bonochi, que estava tá hobby na nos visa inspirativo, hobby energético, então me agradeci para esse. Na me bem back. De como estou muito contente que tem mais gente homem que tem gente muito aqui dentro. Para sombra, dia 25 de novembro, nós está para quieto, riba e hecho com os 5 cordas, com os 5 eliminar a violência contra a gente muito. De maioria caso, a gente homem está fazendo violência contra a gente muito. Então, nós está pondo atenção riba nos meses, riba 25 de novembro, mas atenção me se riba nos. E atenção me se está na sexo que me serva compadil com a gente muito. Então, me quero que a Bonochi, durante a apresentação, a Bini, mas a hopi, lá que nos visa, tema nang dilante de tema grande. Então, a mim quero ponerle em 4 categorias. Então, eu poner me corda, em março, hora que nós temos uma conferência, caminho que nós visa igualdade de gênero, nós visa muito homem nang, me se haya mais atenção. Nós hobby beato do hobby atenção na gente Muhe, na é muita Muhe, na escola também. Então nós não estamos com é muita homberta, nós estamos com suas características não, e nós não estamos por analisar e o que está sua necessidade não. Consequentemente, esse está agora bisa também escola está feminizando. Então muita homem não põe na mesa de escola feminino. Então sabe que não está na Korsou. Essa aqui mundialmente botar ele. Naturalmente tem um candidato de exceção agora que não caminha da escola, tá lá que nos bisa hobby reconhecer maneira Zweden, maneira Finland, maneira Singapore, e não é um candidato não. Pero para bem back ribe ponto é muito homem, e gente homem, mas é um outro tipo de atenção. E nós me se pode deal com esse. Então, se está pondo que você tem melhor balança também do local que você está na educação e formação de gente. Então, pensando se me vai back na Marte, estava tem um menino que chama Johan Oldenboom. Quase seguro que nós conhecer também. Então, esta sali for de filosofia de educação na classe, caia. Nós temos educação na casa, nós temos educação em classe, na escola, e nós temos educação em caia. A mim quero añadir a noite com a comunidade. Para sombra, meu colega, o Sr. Hans Koeman, a presidência da instituição também, que it's take a village to raise a child. Que mendi, põe na casa, põe em classe, põe em caia, para a comunidade também pode ajudar. Então, aqui nanang, Edward Lines a trazer parte de role model de diferentes fases de vida. Então, a mim quero que essa aqui é algo muito importante.
De forma que también nos llegan a final, nos espera de por donarnos contribución, manera nos avisa, por dijo tiempo pasado, nos compromiso con la red Únete de Naciones Unidas como comunicador de cada año, donarnos contribución día 25 de noviembre, y año aquí también, conjuntamente con SEDA, nos aprovechar de llamar que na SEDA, que a donarnos la oportunidad de hacer uso de material aquí para nos por donar también nos contribución en conexión con la celebración o conmemoración de día 25 de noviembre como Día Internacional contra Abuso de gente, mujer y su familia. De forma que también nos llegan a final de nuestro programa, un placer de poder compartir con vos y invitación para mañana para nos volver para otro y visa otro. Bonochi, Korsou.